What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Dermy Wormy, and I'm coming at you with another video. And today we're talking the video game industry as a whole because EA back in 2020 announced 3 brand new Star Wars games, one of which was the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor. One of these games was also going to be a Star Wars Mandalorian based game, kind of bounty hunter-esque and stuff like that. And just the other day, we got announced that the game was canceled. That's right, EA has canceled Respawn's Star Wars FPS. It was rumored to be a Mandalorian bounty hunter game via IGN. Now, when it comes to all this, okay, yeah, you could take this down the Star Wars route as a whole and say people aren't interested in Star Wars anymore. People aren't interested in the Mandalorian games anymore. But there's something else going on around all this, because not only did EA cancel this game, not only did all that go down, we also had this come out. Electric Arts laying off 5% of total work staff. That's right, you have EA not only canceling a video game, but also laying off 5% of its staff. Another mass layoff going on within the actual gaming industry as a whole. And when you come down here and actually read it, Electric Arts has announced they're laying off 5% of its global workforce, the latest round of firings in the industry. While specific details on how many employees have been fired weren't shared, as of March 31st of last year, the employed approximately 13,400 people globally. Now, that's a decent amount of people, that's a decent amount of workforce, but do you really need that many people actually going throughout your game? Well, I guess not. With 65% based internationally. That's another thing. Why do you have so many people based internationally? What are they doing overseas? What's going on? This means Electric Arts has laid off at least 670 employees, alongside a shift to avoid licensed IPs that they aren't convinced will be successful. And you had their CEO actually come out and put this whole thing out. It goes like, team, we are entering, inspiring, and connecting more people with more content and deeper experiences than ever before. Over the last year, we have organized our company to further empower our creative leaders, deliver our strategic priorities of entertaining massive online communities, telling blockbuster stories, and harnessing the power of community in and around our games. These actions have positioned us to build bigger, bolder experiences for hundreds of millions of players and fans around the world. We are also leading through an accelerating industry transformation where players' needs and motivations have changed significantly. Fans are increasingly engaging with the largest IP and looking to us for broader experiences where they can play, watch, create content, and forge deeper connections. Our industry exists at the cutting edge of entertainment, and in today's dynamic environment, we are advancing the way we work and continuing to evolve our businesses. Now, yes, everything he said right there is accurate. Players do want these deeper engrossing stories or deeper engrossing games or something like that. But the difference here is when it comes to like these AAA titles and these AAA games, they haven't been delivering on these aspects at all. They've been focusing more and more on microtransactions, putting out incomplete games, having all this stuff, and actually games that don't look very well to begin with, and games that are broken. When you take a look at EA, one of the biggest complaints when it came to Jedi Survivor was, one, they took out spiders because people might be afraid of spiders, and by doing so, they fundamentally broke their entire game, had massive crashes, all sorts of stuff like that was going on. Why is that? Well, because the AAA titles aren't really focusing in on what players want anymore. They're focusing in on these diversity quotas and things like that, while simultaneously having a similar issue that Hollywood has right now, which is bloat. Too many people, too many hands in this kitchen, too much stuff going on now, and it's kind of coming home to roost. But he goes on, as a company full of creators and storytellers, we believe in the value of teams innovating together and continue to learn and adapt new ways of collaborating to grow and serve our global communities. Right there, global communities, not just fans, not just gamers as a whole, but global communities. Given how and where we are working, we are continuing to optimize our global real estate footprint to best support our businesses. We are also sunsetting games and moving away from development of future licensed IPs that we do not believe will be successful in our changing industry. This greater focus allows us to drive creativity, accelerate innovation, and double down on our biggest opportunities, including our owned IP, sports, and massive online communities to deliver the entertainment players want today and tomorrow. Lastly, we are streamlining our company operations to deliver deeper, more connected experiences for fans everywhere that build community, shape culture, and grow fandom. And hey, that's something to do. But as he continue on, again, this is a termination letter. He goes on. In this time of change, we expect these decisions to impact approximately 5% of our workforce. And I understand this will create uncertainty and be challenging for many who have worked with such dedication and passion and have made important contributions to our company. While not every team will be impacted, this is the hardest part of the changes, and we have deeply considered every option to try and limit impact to our teams. Our primary goal is to provide team members with opportunities to find new roles and paths to transition onto other projects. Where that's not possible, we will support and work with each colleague with the utmost attention, care, and respect. Communicating these impacts has already begun and will be largely completed. I want to extend my appreciation to everyone who has helped contribute to EA's ongoing story. We are a team that leans into our values to lead the future of entertainment, and I look forward to what we will create together. Thank you for all that you do. And when you actually see something like this, again, EA is notorious for microtransactions up the wazoo, whether it comes in the form of things from like 2K, whether 2K NBA, all their sports games, things of that nature, microtransactions. So you would think with a company that deals with massive microtransactions, they wouldn't have to be dealing with things of this nature. They wouldn't have to be reeling from this ongoing kind of collapse of the industry or something like that, is suffering really with the ongoing bloat across the board. But again, it wasn't just Electro Arts that had to terminate people this week. We also had Sony Interactive terminate a bunch of people this week, whether it's from their London studio, Insomniac Games, Naughty Dog, Guerrilla Games, or their Fire Sprite. These are companies that kind of were filled with bloat, filled with ideology up the wazoo, filled with all sorts of situations going on there, and now they're cutting stuff out. They're cutting back on things. They're moving away because the industry is suffering. And it's not just these. We also had Embracer come out recently and say that they were canceling their Deus Ex game and laying off the entire staff. You had Microsoft make a massive amount of layoffs, cutting off bloat, cutting off inadequacies, not inadequacies, but no longer needed people that because of the merger with Blizzard and everything. But they laid off 1,900 staff members right there. They laid off several thousand people just because of this merger, and more people. There's still more. You had Twitch cutting off stuff. Twitch cutting off massive amounts of their fan base, massive amounts of their actual employment base, and they're just Twitch is a dying platform as it is, but this is another example of more entertainment dying. You also had Embracer recently come out and say, hey, they're selling off Saber Interactive, which currently has the Star Wars KOTOR remake involved with all that. There is something going on with the actual gaming industry as a whole. When you take a look at all these actions, when you take a look at all these firings at all these different studios, whether it's Microsoft, Sony, EA, over at Embracer, over at all these different companies, even Twitch as an example of this. The gaming industry is currently going over this massive overhaul, this massive amount of bloat that's being cut out, and I don't know how well this is going to do. There is rumors of a potential gaming bubble about to burst again, another gaming disaster coming here soon. I don't know how this is all going to play out, but you actually have to look at the flip side of all this. We recently had Suicide Squad come out, AAA title that was just hated on. It was a disaster of a game. It didn't play well. It didn't do very well. And then on the flip side, you had games like for Helldivers. You had games like Pal World. You've had games that are from AA industries and independent-based industries that are doing massively well, outperforming all these AAA games and continuing to make profit as people continue to play these games. There's a changing dynamic within the game industry, and these AAA titles and these AAA industries are now reeling from their actions, whether it's political, whether it's countless amounts of bloat, whether it's just no longer putting out good games anymore. they are reeling and they're now feeling the pain of it. And it sucks to say, and I'd never like to revel in the fact that companies are losing employees or people are getting fired, but this is the way the industry is right now. And I see massive amounts of layoffs coming real soon, especially with how the economy is doing right now, with how gaming has drastically changed, and how people are kind of going away from these AAA titles that don't really interest them
Mhm.
anymore and going more towards independent based titles or even Japanese based titles as a whole. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me get you guys' thoughts on all this down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it out, friends. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video and go live. And I'll see you all on the next one. Bye for now.